in the previous session, this annotation, this auto word annotation could be used only for injecting the dependency objects. I mean, I can't use this annotation for what? Primitive types. So it is only for injecting the objects, not for injecting the values. Correct? So this can inject an object. And if you're at the rate auto void, but suppose the Spring cannot find any matching bean. What happens if the Spring cannot find any matching bean? It will throw exception. So if you want to say that injecting the dependency is an optional, it is an optional operation. So if found, you inject it. If not found, you leave it. Okay, but don't throw any exception. For that, we should write required is equal to false. This is the only one parameter that we have with the annotation. That annotation name is called at the rate auto void. Okay, and what if multiple matching beans are found? Okay, suppose if multiple matching beans are found, then we are going to get again exception, right? Because Spring will get an ambiguity like which bean I have to inject. So in such case, we can specify the name, bean name, by using which annotation? Qualifier. So at the rate auto void, and one more supporting annotation also we will write called at the rate qualifier. So with the help of this, then Spring will inject one specific bean when multiple candidates are found for injecting the dependency object. Okay, right? So in the previous class, we got up to this qualifier annotation. Correct? Just to understand, I've written something like this. I've created one component like car, other component like petrol engine, other component diesel engine. Both are implementing engine interface. So if I write engine as a dependency, then there are two components are found by the Spring. One is petrol engine and second one is a diesel engine, right? So the Spring will get an ambiguity, and to resolve this ambiguity, we are going to use which annotation? At the rate qualifier. So when there are multiple candidates are found, okay, for injecting the dependency object, then Spring will get ambiguity, and to resolve that ambiguity problem, we are going to use which annotation? At the rate qualifier. Now, see, next. And this qualifier annotation, we can use at field level. And this annotation also we can use at constructor level, or we can also use at setter level. Same like auto void. Same as auto void. This annotation we can use at what level? Constructor level. Otherwise, we can use it setter level. Otherwise, we can use it field level. Like auto void annotation, qualifier annotation also can be used at field, at constructor, and at the method, setter method. Right. Now, to resolve this ambiguity, there is another annotation also available, and that is called at the rate primary. So now we are going to understand what is at the rate primary. Next, we are going to understand what is the difference between at the rate primary and at the rate qualifier. Okay. So when you talk about primary annotation, it could be used at class level. Primary annotation we can use at class level, or even we can use primary annotation we can use at class level. We just want to open the documentation of the primary annotation. Okay. So if you look at primary, this is a primary annotation we can use. This is what I'm talking about. Primary annotation we can use at what level? Target is fixed. For every annotation, there is some target is defined. So what is the target defined to the primary annotation is a type and method, which means this annotation I can use at a class level. Second, I can use at method level, which means what? I can't use it at field level. I can't use it at constructor level. I can only use at what level? Class level, otherwise method level. What about a qualifier annotation? I can use at field. I can also use at constructor level, or I can also use at setter method level. I can also use at what level? Setter method level. I can use at constructor level, or even I can also use at field level. So these are the different what the places where I can write the qualifier annotation. Coming to primary, it is only used at class level. Otherwise, we can use at the method level. At that time, actually, for example, at the time of creating the classes, we can just specify that this class is the default choice for injecting the dependency object. If you look at our example only, I will explain. Okay, I will explain. I'm trying to say something like this. See here. Oh, let's open a little bit. We'll get suffocating otherwise, right? Good. Come to the point here. Yes. See here. See here. What I'm trying to say, you guys can able to see what I'm trying to say. This @ primary annotation I'm talking about, right? Now this annotation I can use at class level, or I can also use at method level. So at the time of writing the class only, we can specify that this is the default choice for injecting the dependency object. For example, if you take our previous class only, previous examples only, I am creating two components. I am writing @ component. In our previous example, we have @ component. And for example, I am writing public class. Okay, public class petrol engine implements engine. And another component I have created @ component public class, right? Diesel engine implements engine. Okay, so you are getting the two components. So at the time of writing the classes only, I want to make the, I know that what this is a type of engine, this is also type of engine. So means I want to make this petrol engine is a default choice for injecting the dependency object without any ambiguity problem. Because at the time of writing, I am writing more than one class by implementing the same interface. By implementing the same interface, I'm writing multiple classes means then I know that there is an ambiguity problem will occur for injecting the dependency object. So I want to make which one as a default choice, for example, petrol engine. This is a default choice for injecting the dependency object. So then I should make it as a primary. Primary means what? This bean should get high priority, more priority, right? So what annotation I can write here? @ primary. So this primary annotation now I'm writing at what level? Class level. So if I write @ primary, then what happens now? Now this bean gets high priority for injecting the dependency object. This is a primary bean for injecting the dependencies. How to make it as a primary bean? By writing @ primary. So if I write @ primary, now Spring does not get any ambiguity. Now the Spring does not get what? Ambiguity. For injecting the dependency object, there is no ambiguity. Even though multiple candidates are found for injecting the dependency object, multiple candidates are found, but still only one has given high priority. Okay, so can I write the same annotation on this class also, on diesel engine? No. If you make both are primary of same type, then you are going to get the exception. You are going to get the exception. So how many beans I can make them as primary of same type? One bean I can make. Which one I am making it as primary? Which one I am making it as primary? Petrol engine. Now you tell me there is no ambiguity problem now. So to resolve the ambiguity problem, previously we discussed about which annotation? Qualifier. Now we are discussing about what? Primary. So both can be used for resolving the ambiguity problem when there are multiple candidates are found for injecting the dependency object. Am I clear or not? Very good. If I write at the rate primary, then I no need to use at the rate qualifier. Okay. So for example, this is my class car. Let's say I'm writing a component called car, public class car, right? And here I'm writing at the rate auto void. At the rate auto void, I'm writing engine. Now tell me, if I'm writing at the rate auto void, will the Spring get any ambiguity? Actually, now Spring can find what? Multiple objects, multiple candidates. Multiple candidates are there for injecting the dependency object. Spring can find that. But out of two, which one is primary? Petrol. That's why now container, the Spring container is now injecting diesel engine object or petrol engine object to this car? Petrol engine object. Petrol engine object, not the diesel engine. Because of it is primary. So there is no ambiguity problem now, right? So there is no need to use which annotation now? There is no need of using which annotation at the rate? Qualifier. Qualifier. Now, understand. Suppose, assume that in this car only, I am creating one variable is engine 1, another variable is engine 2. Of course, I am writing side by side to explain that. I don't have space there. Engine 2. Here also I am writing at the rate auto void. So did you guys understood the class car now? There are, okay, this car need an object of type engine and also again object of type engine, which means it has how many dependencies? Two dependencies of same type. It has two dependencies of same type. Now you tell me if I write at the rate auto void here, at the rate auto void here, tell me what Spring is going to inject for this variable engine 1? Petrol engine. For engine 2, again petrol engine. Again petrol engine. But my requirement is what? This car has two engines. It has both petrol engine and diesel engine. Are you able to get my point now, right? For example, I'm taking. Okay, good. So you tell me, of course, practically it is not possible. Like a car doesn't have petrol, diesel, both engines, but a car can have petrol engine and gas CNG engine, right? Some cars are dual engines are available, right? Okay, CNG gas can be used, otherwise petrol can be used like that. Okay, just I'm taking like this. Now tell me, in engine 2, again, what object is injected? Petrol engine object is injected because it is a primary. Primary means default choice. Primary means what's the default choice? Petrol engine. That's why it is injected. But my requirement is for engine 2, I want to inject a petrol engine or a diesel engine? Diesel engine. So tell me, how can I solve this problem again? Again, I have to use at the rate qualifier. At the rate qualifier. So we are explicitly telling the Spring container that you inject a bean with the name diesel engine. So in this case, I must use again which annotation? Qualifier. So qualifier means we are explicitly telling. Primary means it's a default. If you don't write any annotation along with auto void, which is going to be the default choice for injecting the object? Primary. Primary. Qualifier means what? We are explicitly telling the Spring that what? You inject a bean with a specific name called what engine? Diesel engine. That's how the primary and the qualifier both are having a difference. Okay, right? So how can you differentiate the primary and the qualifier? Both are actually used for what purpose only? Okay, both are used for resolving a dependency object if multiple candidates are found as matching beans. So multiple matching beans are found for injecting the dependency object. Then how can we resolve this ambiguity problem? we can use qualifier annotation. Otherwise, we can use primary annotation. Primary annotation. Are you able to get my point? Very good. So tell me, if I make a bean as a primary, then this is going to be the default choice for injecting the dependency object. Dependency object. Am I clear? Okay. But if at any time, for example, if you want to specify the Spring that not the default choice, inject this bean, inject a bean with this name, not the default one, then how can you tell that? By using the annotation called qualifier. Like that, we are going to use both primary and qualifier. Tell me, there is a primary available here. There is a qualifier available here. If I write primary on one class, qualifier with another bean name, then tell me which one is injected to this engine to? Primary bean is injected or qualifier bean is injected? Qualifier bean is injected. Am I right or not? Qualifier bean, which means which has more priority than what? Qualifier has more priority than primary. Primary is a default choice, but qualifier is a explicit choice. That's the difference between what and what, primary and a qualifier. Okay. And moreover, this primary we can use only at what level? Class level. Otherwise, we can use at what level? Method level. See, you know, configuration class. You know, configuration class. How to write configuration class? How do you write configuration class? Do you know how to write configuration class? Yes, there is one annotation available called @configuration. @configuration. And you know, for example, you know, component scan annotation also. I'm not writing that. Public class app config. I told in this class, if you want to explicitly create an object, initialize an object, and you want to store in the Spring container, you have to create which method? Bean method. Bean method. Am I right? Bean method. So we are going to use which annotation on top of the method? @bean. Okay. Now here I can also write, for example, I'm writing, sir, @primary. Just understand, everybody. @bean, @primary. Please understand. Please understand. I'm writing one method called public. Return type should be an object of a class. Okay. An object of a class is the return type. For example, I have something called, okay, but I'll take the same example or other example I'm trying to think on. But PDF generator is assume that it's one class available. Okay, assume that there is a class available called PDF generator. Let's say method name is PDF. Now there is another bean, public Excel generator. Excel. Okay. Now if you look at this, everyone, actually PDF generator, Excel generator, both are generators, document generators. PDF is one document generator, Excel is another document generator. Now I'm writing @primary on top of which one? PDF generator, PDF method. Now you tell me both are generator objects. Both are generator objects. Now you tell me, suppose for injecting the generator object, now Spring is going to use which one as a default choice? PDF generator. PDF generator. Now tell me how to make it as a default choice for injecting the dependency object when in case of ambiguity problem? By using annotation. Which annotation? @primary. Now this time I'm writing @primary on top of the class or on top of the method? On top of the method, but I'm not creating on top of the class. So means I can use this annotation at two places where I can use annotation at the class level. Otherwise, I can use at the method level. That's what I'm trying to say. Are you getting my point now? Like this also we can write. So we are going to combine @bean and @primary. Okay. This primary annotation we are going to use along with bean annotation. Otherwise, we write on top of the class. Okay, on top of the class we write, otherwise we write at bean methods. So this is method level and also class level. That's what annotation. So to resolve ambiguity problem, there are two annotations available. One is called qualifier and second one is called primary. Primary. In the last class, we have discussed about which one? Qualifier. Qualifier. Okay, qualifier. Very good. So now we are going to talk about primary. Primary. We are talking about primary. So tell me, this primary annotation is also used for what purpose? For what purpose we use this primary annotation? It is also used for resolving the ambiguity problem if multiple candidates or objects, anything, if multiple beans are found for injecting the dependency object. Okay, if multiple beans are found for injecting the dependency object, to resolve that ambiguity problem, we use which annotation? At the rate primary. So tell me, this annotation we can use at what level and what level? One is at a class level and second one is at the level. Okay, sure. I'm going to write it. So this annotation can be used at what level? Class level or at method level. Okay, remember it is not for using at constructor or it is not for using at setter method. Method level means which method? Primary annotation we can use at a class level or at method level. I told method level means which method? Setter method? No, which method? Bean method. Which method? Bean method, not setter method, bean method. Am I right? Very good. So this annotation can be used at a class level or at method level. Next, this annotation can be used to specify that a bean is a default choice for dependence injection when multiple beans are found of the same type by the Spring container. Okay, so this annotation can be used to specify that a bean is a default choice for dependence injection when multiple beans are found of the same type by the Spring container. This is our primary. So I'll write example to understand it. Next, I'll tell you. Suppose at injection point means wherever you're at the rate auto void. Suppose at injection point, okay, if you want to change the dependency object, or if you want to change the dependency bean, anything, if you want to change the bean for dependence injection, then you have to use @qualifier explicitly. Am I clear with that? Which annotation you have to use now? Qualifier. At injection point means what? At injection point means wherever you're writing auto void. At injection point, if you want to change the bean for dependence injection, then you have to use what annotation? @qualifier. You have to explicitly use @qualifier. Okay. So means @qualifier will override the definition of @primary. Am I right or not? Right. If @primary, @qualifier, which one will get priority? Qualifier. Qualifier. Okay. Good. First, let me write example one. Example one. Let us write here and we will copy to that place. Okay, this is what we have already. So I just want to change it now. I want to change it now. So now I don't want to write, guys. Now I don't want to write at the rate qualifier. You got my point? I don't want to change at the rate qualifier. I want to remove at the rate qualifier. But now coming to this petrol engine in place of after component, which new annotation I'm writing? At the rate primary. At the rate primary. Can I make both of them as at the rate primary? No, because both are of same type now. If two beans are of same type, means if two bean classes are of same type, how many bean classes we can make them as primary objects? Only one. Only one. If you read both of them as primary, you will get exception at runtime. Okay, right. At the rate auto void. So here, okay, here, which object is injected? Which object is injected? Which dependency object is injected with a Spring container? Huh? Because of auto void here now, because of auto void annotation, the Spring will inject what object? Okay, petrol engine object, because it is declared as what? Primary. Primary. First, let me copy this. This is example one. Example one. Example one. Okay, so this is example one, guys. Okay, good. This is example one. Okay, now you tell me here. Okay, now you tell me here. Tell me which one is injected here. The Spring injects what object? Petrol engine object. Petrol engine object as a dependency. As a dependency object. Okay. As a dependency object to the car object. Car object is a what type of object? Dependent object. Car object is what type of object? Dependent object. Here, the Spring injects petrol engine object as a dependency object to the car object. Car object. Okay, na? That's called dependent object. Good. Good. Next. Next. Example 2. Example 2. Because I want to give you clarity. Now here, guys, I'm writing engine 1. Okay. I'm writing engine 1. I'm also writing again at the rate auto void engine 2. You understood now? Tell me what and what I have with me? Engine 1, engine 2. But if for both engine 1 and 2, which one is injected? Petrol engine only injected, because who is the primary for injecting the dependency object? Petrol engine. So first, this is second example that we want to copy it. Then we'll use qualifier. Okay, so then we use qualifier. So let me get the point here. Tell me here what happened now. Here, that the spring injects what object? Petrol engine object as a dependency object. Okay, dependency object for both references, for both reference variables. Who are the two reference variables? Engine 1, engine 2. Engine 2. Am I right or not? The spring injects petrol engine object is a dependence object for both reference variables engine 1 and engine 2. Engine 1, engine 2. Next. Example 3. In example 3, here, which annotation that we want to add newly? Qualifier. So here we are going to use qualifier. Okay, I can use what? Qualifier, and what I can write? Name. What is the name? Diesel engine. Diesel engine. Now you tell me which one is injected? Which? For engine 1, petrol engine, default choice. For engine 2, diesel engine object. That's it. That's it. This is how you guys need to know the difference between primary and qualifier. Primary and qualifier. Both are used for dependency injection only. Both are used to resolve the ambiguity problem only, but one is a default choice, one is an explicit choice. Okay, now I'm writing the point here. Tell me here the spring injects what? Petrol engine object. Petrol engine object as a dependency object for which variable? Engine 1, right? For engine 1, and what object now? Diesel engine object. Diesel engine object as a what object? Dependency object. Dependency object for engine 2. Got it? Spring injects petrol engine object as a dependency object for engine 1 and a diesel engine object as a dependency object for engine 2. That's how, okay, that's how the spring is going to inject. Okay, right? So tell me here, which annotation is overriding the definition of which annotation? At the rate qualifier is overriding the definition of at the rate primary. At the rate primary is a default choice. So the question is, if I write at the rate primary and at the rate qualifier, which one will win? Primary will win or qualifier will win? Qualifier is going to win because qualifier has more priority than primary. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, that's a difference we can find here. So I'm writing a point here. At the rate primary is a default choice and at the rate qualifier is an explicit choice. Okay, next, if both are used, tell me what? If both are used, then at the rate qualifier gets more priority. Which one gets more priority? At the rate qualifier gets more priority. More priority. Okay, next. See, at the rate primary, are we using at the injection point or we are using at the class level? Class level, otherwise we can say method level. Okay, class level or method level. Okay, that is declaration level. But at the rate qualifier we are using at what level? Injection level. At the rate auto void, along with that we are using what? At the rate qualifier. At that qualifier we are using with auto void, not at class level or not at method level. Am I right or not? Right. So it means at qualifier is used at injection level. At injection point, which annotation we are using? At the rate qualifier. Okay. At a declaration level, which one you are using? At the rate primary. At the rate primary used at declaration level. Declaration level means when you are declaring the class or when you are storing the object in the spring container, then you are going to use what? At that primary. But at that qualifier is not used at declaration level. At what level? Injection point. At injection point. So at that qualifier is used at injection point. And at primary is used at a declaration point or at a declaration level. Okay, that's the difference. You can find between what and what now? Primary and qualifier. Primary and qualifier. Next, we will go ahead. So we are going to look at by using whatever the annotations that we have discussed so far. These are all called stereotype annotations. Initially, we have started. What are all the annotations that so far we have discussed? What are the annotations so far we have discussed? Let us recap once. Then we are going to start with example. Could you guys tell me what are the annotations that I have so far explained to you? First, we start our discussion with at component annotation, which is the parent annotation for stereotype annotations. Okay, who are the other annotations we have discussed? At thread component is okay. Next, what we discussed? At service is annotation. Then at repository is one more annotation that we have discussed. Okay, at controller is one more annotation that we have used. We have discussed. Next, at who is the parent of REST controller annotation? Controller. Who is the parent of controller annotation? Component. Component. Very good. Now, at configuration annotation, we have discussed. These are all called as what type of annotations? Stereotype annotations. Stereotype annotations. Okay. Now tell me. Okay, I'll tell you. At the rate auto void also we discussed yesterday. Next, along with auto void, to resolve the ambiguity problems, we have used which annotation? Qualifier. Today we have discussed about which annotation? At the rate primary. Now you tell me these are all used for what purpose? These are for auto varying. Auto varying is applicable for injecting the values or objects. These are called auto varying related annotations. These are auto varying related annotations. These are all stereotype annotations. Next, we have discussed about one more annotation called what? At the rate component scan. And also we have used at the rate bean. Am I right or not? So far, these are all the annotations I have explained to you in Spring. Right? These are the annotations we have used. Very good. Now we are going to create a small example with all these annotations. Now, are we going to write any XML file in our example today? No, we are not going to write XML file. Okay, we are going to write in place of XML file, we are writing what? Configuration class. Annotations we are using, and we are writing Java configuration class. How can we create a configuration class? At the rate configuration. By writing at the rate configuration class and by using annotations, I'm avoiding which file? XML file. XML file. Let's start writing example for annotations. So in our example, I'll tell you. I'm creating, understand, I'm creating classes like this, guys. I'll tell you. Today we are going to discuss our first example with all these annotations. Multiple annotations we are going to cover in our example. Everybody, just we are going to look at about multiple examples that we want to discuss. Okay, right. So in our example, what actually we are discussing, I'll explain. In our example, we want to know. Okay, in our example, we want to know what exactly we are going to discuss. See, my requirement is, okay, my requirement is, I want to create one class called, okay, could be something. Let's say, for example, I want to create a class called, plan service. And I also want to create one class called plan repository. And also I want to create another class in my application that is called plan. This is one Pojo class. So this is not a Spring Bean. It is, I am only going to create an object for plan. But plan service and plan repository, both are the Spring Bean classes. Means on top of this class, I'm going to use @service. Here I'm going to use @repository. And plan service depends on plan repository. Means which annotation again I'm going to cover? Auto void. Plan service depends on plan repository. In plan service, I'm creating some two methods. I'm creating two methods. In a plan repository also, I'm creating two methods. So from plan service, I want to call the methods of plan repository. I want to create two methods in plan service. I want to create two methods in plan repository, and the plan service methods are going to call the plan repository methods. Nothing but what plan service depends on plan repository. And for that, we are going to use annotation called what? Auto void. And I'm also creating one normal Java class called plan. It's a plan. This plan is a class which contains variables called plan ID, description. Plan ID, description, amount or price or whatever it is. Like when you're recharging your mobile, you have a plan, 399 plan, 599 plan, 799 plan. And for that, you are having some validity. Okay, plan ID, description, price, validity. How many variables I'm creating? 4 variables I'm creating in this class. What's the class name? Plan. First, plan ID, description, price, validity. I'm creating 4 variables in the plan class with all the respective setter methods and getter methods. This is one simple Java class. And in plan repository, I want to store plan ID as a key, plan object as a value. Means I want to store the data in the form of key and value pairs. To store the data in key and value pairs, we have to use a collection object. The collection object is a map object. Map only can store the data in the form of what and what? Key and value pairs. So I'm going to use hash map object. Which object I'm using? Hash map object I'm going to use. In this hash map object, I want to store the plan ID as a key, that plan object as a value. Okay, for example, plan ID 599. Or let's say plan ID P101. Different ID. P-101. Its price 399 rupees. Description 1 GB data per day, 100 SMS free per day. Description. Okay, validity 28 days. This is called one plan object. This is called what object? One plan object. What is the ID? P-101. What is the description? 1 GB per day, 100 SMS per day is a description. 399 price. Validity 28 days. This is called what object? Plan object. Tell me, in the hash map, I am going to store what as a key? Plan ID. What is the plan ID? P-101. What as a value? The plan object I want to store as a value. In the map, I want to store the plan ID as a key, that plan object as a value. I want to maintain like this. Suppose I'm creating 3 plan objects, P101, P-102, P-103. For example. Are you able to get my point now? Right. This is how I'm going to create one plan I'm going to create one plan repository. I'm going to use plan service. I'm going to use @service, @repository, @auto-void. Are you getting all these things now? @auto-void we are going to use, @service we are going to use, @repository we are going to use. I mean, we are talking about some of the annotations that we have discussed. Next, we are going to get a component class, sorry, configuration class, @configuration, @component scan. We are going to use almost 5-6 annotations in our next example. In our next example, we are going to use 5 or 6 annotations to discuss about this example. Okay, right? Let's start working. So you should get an idea of what example I'm going to prepare. I have a service class, I have a repository class, I have a normal Java class, and there are 2 methods or 3 methods, whatever. I'm creating 2 methods. Plan service depends on what? Plan repository. So I'm going to use which annotation? @auto-void. Next, I'm going to use what annotations? @configuration class, @component scan, @configuration, @component scan, and of course @bean. We will see after once discussing the example. Okay, let's see. We want to create this example now. So first, to start create this example, I'm going to start my IDE. I'll ask the question again. I didn't understood the question. Yeah.
Sir, you mentioned that we will work on IntelliJ also.
Not now, sir. I will tell you. I'll tell you. I'll tell you. Okay. First,
Okay.
you try to concentrate on the Spring. Okay. IDEs are not important. IDE you can learn yourself if you sit for 1 hour. If you just sit for 1 hour, you can learn IDE by yourself. I no need to teach actually. But still, of course, I'm going to use. We'll see. We have still so many classes. Yeah.
Okay.
So we are going to create Maven project. Next, we are going to click on next. And we will wait to get the archetypes. Here, we are going to choose Maven archetype. Quick start. Then next, these are the parameters of the project. And here we are working with the Spring annotations. Spring annotations example 1. Next, we'll see example 2 also with other annotations. This is example 1. Spring annotations example 1. And here, and here. Okay, and here, for example, I use, okay, I use com dot pack dot, could be any names there. First I'm writing service, but later I'll tell you the other package name. One package name you can type here, remaining package you have to create. The one package name we can specify at the time of creating the project parameters. What is the name I took? Com dot pack dot service. Now I want to click on finish. Okay, I'm typing Y. Now we got build success. Now we can see we got the Spring annotations Example one, the project. Okay, right. I'll go to first pom.xml file. And in the pom.xml file, I should add one dependency. So first I should go to which section? Dependencies. And after going to the dependencies section, next I'm going to add what tag here? What tag here? Dependency. Dependency tag I need to add. Tell me in the dependency tag and under the dependency tag, I should add child tags. Who are my child tags? One is the group ID. Who is the group ID? Arg.Spring Framework. That's a group ID. Tell me. Next, artifact ID is what I have to add. Artifact ID. Tell me, who is artifact ID? Spring-context. Context. Next one is what? Version. Version 622. Am I clear? You guys got dependency tag here, group ID, artifact ID, and version. After adding all these things, next, I'm going to start writing. By default, there is one hello world program is created with the name app.java. What should we do? Delete. Delete. Now, there is one package available called com.pack.service in my project. I want to write a service class, but I want to tell you one thing. Understand here. I want to tell you one thing. com.pack.service is the one package. I also want to create one more package called right-click new package. Other package I want is com.pack.repository. Okay. com.pack.service, com.pack.repository. You know how to understand the packages? Tell me, service and repository are the sub packages of pack. Pack is a sub package of com, which means com.pack is a base for repository. Com.pack is a base for service. Service. Okay. Please understand. Okay. Next, I'll create for main class. I'll create later. First, I want to go to repository. In the repository package, I just want to create one new class. Otherwise, I create one more package, new package. Package name is com.pack.model. Model is a package where we can create the POJO classes. Model classes means they are the classes. The objects of the classes will hold the data. Okay, model means an object which maintains data or which holds data. So that is called model object we call in Java. It is in further when web development starts, you'll understand all of them, model, view, controller like that. But currently, what's the package? Another package I've created, com.pack.model. Model. Okay. And in this model, I just want to create one new class. My class name is plan. What's my class name? Plan. Plan is my model class. Plan is my model class. See, I am not writing any annotation called @component or @service, nothing. It is not a Spring Bean class. It is just a normal Java class I want to use to store some data. That's why I'm not using an annotation called @service or @repository or @component. I don't want to use such kind of things. Okay. Right. Simply plan is my own class. It is not a Spring Bean class. It is just only one class for which I am going to create the object. It is not a Spring Bean class. It is not a Spring Bean class. Am I clear with that? Now I'll go ahead. See, private string plan ID. One variable I'm creating called what ID? Plan ID. Private string description. Sorry, semicolons. Next one, private double price. Private, I want to use string validity. Okay, I want to define a constructor for all these fields. A constructor for assigning the values to all these fields. I no need to define a constructor by myself. What can I do? Right click, go to source, generate constructor using fields, select all, click on generate. Tell me constructor is automatically created. And you know how to generate the setter and getter methods. How to generate the setter getter methods? Right click, source, generate getters and setters, select all the fields and click on generate. You tell me which methods are created right now? Setter getter methods. Next, I also want to generate toString method. Which method? toString method. That also we can generate automatically. So how can I generate the toString method automatically? Right click, source, generate toString method to display the object as a string format. To display the object data like a string, we are going to override which method? toString method. toString method. Now this is my class. Which class I have created? Plan. Plan. Very good. Now I'll go to plan repository. Understand here, plan repository. New class. My class name is plan repository. What's the class name? Plan repository. Now in the plan repository class, on top of the class, I wanted annotation called @repository. Now see, we started using annotations now. @repository. What's the package name? org.springframework.stereotype.repository. I told these are all called stereotype annotations. Yes, stereotype. Very good. Observe here, guys. Actually, I'm taking hash map object. Hash map of string comma plan, plans map. Please try to understand, sir. You know, collection objects are very important in Java. So which type of collection object I want to use here? Hash map object. Hash map can store the data as a key and a value. I want to store what as a key and what as a value I want to store in the collection object. Plan ID as a key, that plan object as a value. Now you tell me plan ID is a string. Plan ID is a means what type of key? String type. What type of value I want to store? Plan object. That's why what I am writing string comma plan. The type parameters. Okay, the first type parameter is a key type. Second type parameter is a value type. What is the key type? String. What is the value type? Plan object. Plan object. That's why I'm writing string comma plan. Am I clear with that? Very good. Again, understand here. Please try to understand. What I will do is, I will write annotation called @auto-void.
Sir, on the class you did not write a type parameter. It's not necessary, right? It's only on the method level we will do it in this case.
I didn't understand your question, sorry.
My question was that as I understand, we use type parameter at class level while defining the function. So how is this going to, because in the Pojo class we did
Type
not
parameter,
use
I didn't get type parameter.
plan, which is in your hash map string and in the Angular bracket, a string and plan. The plan
Yeah,
one
this is one generic class, okay?
Okay.
This
Okay,
is
it's
one
going to
generic
the
class.
map. Okay, it's going to hash map. Okay, got it. Okay, it's going to
Okay,
the other. I got it. Sorry, I was
Yeah, no,
relating
no.
to the plan. I was going to the plan straight. I got it.
Understood.
You're right. Okay, thank you.
So now, see here, guys. I'm using @auto-void because @auto-void can be used for injecting what? Dependency object. Dependency if it is a primitive type. Dependency if it is a primitive type. we can't use auto void. If dependency is an object type, tell me now hash map is a primitive type or object type? Object type only. Hash map is an object, hash map is a integer value. Object only. Every collection object is an object only, right? Array list object we are calling, hash map object, tree map object, all are objects only, na? Very good. That's why I'm using which annotation? Auto void. I'll tell you. Good. Next. I'll tell you how auto void, how hash map object can be injected. I'm going to get a bean method in the configuration class. See here. I will write something like this. Please understand. I'm writing one method called public return type is plan. Okay. Let's say, for example, method name is find by ID of string plan ID. That's why I repeat again, core Java is important. Okay. Tell me which method I am creating. First of all, you should know how to read the method. Reading the method is important. Tell me in this method, what is method name? What is its return type? Find by ID is the name of the method. What is return type? Plan, not void. Plan means what this method should return? Plan object. Void means it no need to return anything. But a plan means it should return the plan object. What is the parameter? String type parameter, plan ID. How many parameters are there in this method? Only one parameter. What this method will do, will take plan ID as an input value and will return the plan object of that plan, right? Very good. So you guys need to understand once again. Actually, I first thought of using optional class object as return type here. Java 8 feature is there optional class, but I don't know, some of online guys and you may be unknown or maybe known. So that's why I changed my plan and written simply plan. Okay, right. So public plan, what's the method name? Find by ID and return type, sorry, parameter or string plan ID. Very good. Now here I want to write return plans map dot get of plan ID. Just one line of code only, because you know in a map there are methods called put, get, remove. Methods are available. Put for storing or adding a key and value pair to the map object. Get of key returns a value. Remove of key will remove the key and value. Put method, get method, remove method, and what other methods you know? I want to collect all the keys of the map object. Key set. Okay, if I want to get only values method. If you want to get all the key value pairs into a set, then we have entry set. So key set, values, entry set, these are the methods available. Very good. Put, get, remove, key set, values, entry set, these are important methods of the map object. Tell me which method I'm calling here? Get. Suppose if the given plan ID exists in the map, returns a plan object, its value. If the given plan ID does not exist in the map, returns null. Returns what? Null. Very good. Observe here. My second method, I do not want to give you much burden. Directly hash map, I'm taking return type. Hash map of string comma plan is return type. This is a return type. Method name is find all. Simply return plans map. One method is to get the only a particular plan based on ID. Second one, to get all the plans. That's why was the method name I took find all. Find all means everyone. This kind of methods are very common in working with the Spring. Find by ID, based on ID of the employee, you want to retrieve one employee. Find all means you want to get all the employees from the database. If you want to get a particular employee from database, find by ID. If you want to get all employees from database, find all. Like that. I'm relating my example also like that. Tell me, so far, which class I have created? Plan repository. It has what as a dependency, a primitive or object? Object. Which object? Hash map. Collection object, na? Hash map object. Who will inject this object? Spring container. Spring will inject the object. If Spring wants to inject hash map object, in Spring container, hash map object must be there. Then only it will inject. Otherwise, how it can inject? What I will do? I will create one hash map object by myself. I will store this hash map object in the Spring container so that container will inject it to plant repository. Are you able to follow me? Tell me, if I want to create a hash map object and if I want to store that object in the Spring container, I have to create which method? Bean method. Exactly. Where can I write bean method? In the configuration class, I can add the bean method. Okay. First, I want to complete that. So for creating that configuration class, I want to use one more package. New package. Let's say my package name is com.pack.config. I'm using separate packages. For repository, one package. For model class means one Java class, one package. Next for service class, one more package. And for configuration class, one more package. I'm using multiple packages. We have to use like that only. New. I want to create what, guys? Class. Suppose my class name is app config. What's my class name? App config. Tell me, first of all, this class, I want to make it as what type of class? Configuration. How to mark that this is a configuration class? @configuration. Components can I'll add next. I'll come back and I'll add. Tell me which method I want to create inside this? Bean method. Public. Public. Return type is hash map of a string comma plan. Let's say object method name can be any name. Let's say, for example, my map or plans map or hash map, whatever it is. Tell me, in this bean method, I am only going to create what object? Hash map object. And I will store this object in where? Container. The container will inject this object to the repository or not? Yes. Very good. Tell me which object I want to create here? Hash map object. Create hash map class object, string comma plan. HM is equal to object name can be your choice. New hash map. Did everybody understood? Online people? Tell me which object I am creating here? Hash map object I am creating. My object name is what? HM. Tell me what object is ready with me? Hash map object, but does not contain any data right now. I want to store the data. To store the data, I need to call which method? Put method. Which method? Put method. Observe it, guys. HM dot put P dash 101, for example, is a key. What is the value? Plan object. Plan object means I should use new keyword for creating the object and storing it here. New plan of. How many parameters are there for my constructor? 4 parameters are there. Plan ID, description, price, and validity. See the constructor once again. See the parameters order. ID, description, price, validity. Okay. I will create plan ID as, I'll create plan ID as P-101. That is a plan ID. Description, I'm writing like this. 1 GB per day, comma, 100 SMS per day. Is the description of the plan. 1 GB dash day, slash day, comma, 100 SMS slash day. Per day, 1 GB and 100 SMS. That's the plan ID. P101. Price is 399. Or the price? 399. Validity 28 days. One object is one key value pair is stored right now. Like that, I want to add 2, 3, not more than that, 2, 3. Tell me P dash 102. P dash 102. This is 1.5 GB per day. How many? 1.5 GB per day, 100 SMS per day. Plan 599 plan. Price how much? 599. Days. Add some days. 36 days. This is 103. P dash 103. 2 GB per day. 2 GB per day, 100 SMS per day. It is 799 plan and a validity 56 days. Am I clear with that? Now return HM. Tell me here which annotations I have covered. Which annotations I have covered? Configuration annotation is covered here. @bin is covered here. Okay, right? What is my base package for all the packages, other packages? Com.pack. You know, to enable the component scan, I need to specify which package? Base package. Base package. Tell me what the annotation I should write. @component scan of double quotes com.pack. I told you can write value is equal to com.pack. Or another name also available. What's another one? Base packages is equal to, I told you base packages is alias for value. Value is alias for base packages. We can use any one of them. Yes. Value is equal to com.pack. If you're writing annotation with a single parameter and if the parameter name is value, then we can remove it or not? Yes. Yes, we can remove it. Of course, I'm writing, but we can remove it. I have covered here configuration annotation, component scan annotation, bean annotation, and also repository annotation. Next, auto word annotation. Which one? Auto word annotation. Next, I'm going to which class? Service. Service package. Right click new class on service package. On service package. My class name is plan service. What's my class name? Plan service. Plan service. Now this is a service class. Tell me which annotation I want, right? @service. Service. Okay, very good. Now here I'm writing plan repository. Plan repository. Repository. You tell me plan service depends on plan repository. Then tell me which annotation I can have to use. @AutoWide. I told without using this annotation, we cannot develop any Spring applications. AutoWide is compulsory annotation. Are you able to get the point right now? Very good. AutoWide annotation is covered here. And also I've used it there. Here I'm creating one method. Public. Understand? Public. Return type is plan. What is the index? Plan. Method name is get plan by ID. Of string plan ID. I'm creating one method. First of all, tell me what is the return type of this method? What is the return type of this method? Plan object. What is the method name? Get plan by ID. What is the parameter? Plan ID. Tell me this method should return what object? Plan object for the plan ID. For that, this method is going to call the repository method. What is the method available in the repository? What is the method available in the repository? Find by ID. In the repository class, there is a method available called what? Find by ID. Simply it is going to call the repository method. Return repository dot find by ID. It is not having any logic in that. Call the repository method, return the same object. Return the same object after calling this method. You call this method, return the same object. Problem is solved. Now you tell me which method I have created. Which method I have created? Get plan by ID. Very good. Get plan by ID. Next I'm writing public. Public. Hash map of string comma plan return type. Get all plans. What is the method name? Get all plans. Tell me to get all plans, which method of repository I need to call? Find all. Return repository dot find all. Problem is solved. Now you guys tell me, what and what classes have completed? What and what classes have completed? Plan service, plan repository, configuration class, plan class. Plan is a normal Pojo class. But who are the Spring Beans? Plan service is a Spring Bean. Plan repository is a Spring Bean. And a configuration class is also we can call as a Spring Bean. Because it is also a component. Yes. Very good. Lastly, to test this application, we have to create which class? Main class. Let's create main class in another package. Main class in another package. Let's start creating it. Can you open the door a little bit? Open in parallel. Yeah. This time is a hot summer. Huh? Okay. New package. Okay. Package name is com.pack.main. Guys, tell me this main package I'm creating only for writing main class. It is only main class to start the container. After starting the container, to get the object from the container and to call the methods. If I want to test my program, I need object from the container. For that, first of all, I should start the container. Then I can get the object. After getting the object, I'll call the methods. Tell me, I am going to write one new what? Class. This time, my class name is main. With the main method also. Here we are going to understand. Guys, tell me, do we have any XML file to start the Spring container? No, we don't have any XML file. What we have? Annotation, configuration class and annotations we have used. I told in the previous class, to start the Spring container, which class I have to use now? If there are annotations and configuration class you have created, then you tell me which class I have to use to start the Spring container. Annotation config, application context. Previously, which one we have used? Class path XML, application context. Class path XML, application context. That is for XML, but we don't have an XML now. Yes. Tell me, application context. Context is equal to, tell me guys, new, tell me, annotation config. Tell me, annotation config, application context of, what is your configuration class? App config dot class. Right? To get all the imports, use Control Shift O. You'll get all the imports automatically. Right. Okay, container started. After starting the container will create objects, service object, repository object. It will go with the component scan feature. Container will do its work. You don't worry. Now you tell me which object you want to get from the container to call the methods. Which class methods you want to call from this main? Which class methods you want to call from this main class? Plan service. Which one? Plan service. Nothing but you need which object here? Plan service object is required in this class. From where I need to get this object? Container. How to get the object from the container? Get bean. What's the method name? Get bean. Tell me. Plan service. Service is equal to or PS is equal to anything. Tell me what? Context dot get bean. I told there is another variation of get bean. You can pass the class object. How to pass? Plan service dot class. So that no need of typecasting. Tell me which method you want to call first? Get plan by ID. Next one, get all plans. First, I want to call get plan by ID. I want to call that method. I cannot simply system.out.println, no problem. system.out.println service dot get plan by id of p dash 102. Okay, I'm using 102. Of course, I'm directly taking p dash 102. Otherwise, you write a scanner object here. Then ask the user, enter the plan ID, whose details you want to see. Plan ID, take the plan ID from keyboard, then pass that value. You know already using scanner, how to read the input from the user in Core Java programming. That scanner object here also we can create. I'm directly passing p dash 102. Otherwise, you take it from user. To take it from user, which class object you have to create? Scanner object. Scanner object. Okay, let us run this program. One more method available. What's the one more method? Get all plans. It returns what object? Get all plans returns hash map object. What is it? Then you have to apply your collections knowledge to display the data from hash map object. You know, first you have to call entry set method. Which method? Entry set method. You'll get a set of entry objects. Then you can use iterator. Otherwise, you can use for each loop. Am I right or not? What you can use? For each loop. Good. So I just want to give it for you as a work. I want to execute it up to this. Second method I'm not calling. You have to call the second method in my example and you have to print the output. Right. Tell me first of all how to build this application. Right click. Run as Maven build dot. What should enter? Package. If you are rebuilding the application, then clean space package. Run. So after getting this message called what build success, what should I do? Right click, refresh. After refresh, you know, target folder is going to contain our jar file. What is our project name? Spring Annotations example 1. What is the version of the jar? 001-snapshot.jar. The jar file is created in which folder? Target folder. When you clean, this target folder becomes empty, right? Very good. Now run this main. Right click, run as a Java application. You see, what is the ID I provided as input? P dash 102. Then tell me I'm getting the data of the plan now. For the plan ID, P dash 102. Description, 1.5 GB per day, 100 SMS per day. Price, 599 rupees. Validity, 36 days. Are you getting the output now? Very good. This is to get all the plans data or a particular plan data? A specific plan data, ID P dash 102. How to get all the available plans? First call, get all plans method of service class. In service class, one more method available called what? Get all plans. It returns what object? Hash map object. And you know how to display the data from hash map object. Apply that knowledge. Okay. This is the session for today. I'll share this example with you and we will continue on tomorrow. Meanwhile, you practice this example and try to find the second method output also. What's the second method? Get all plans. Here only which method I'm calling? Get plan by ID. There is another method available called what? Get all plans. Okay, please try to write the code for that method as well. Okay, guys, that's the session for today. Online people, thank you. Okay, we will continue tomorrow. I'll share this example later afternoon. So the document, you can go through it and call the second method and get the output.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.